Here in this video we will dive into the 10 most deadliest alien hive minds in sci-fi. These are the collective consciousness of an entire race or species, or even a bunch of connected species. They are superorganisms with a level of intelligence that far supersedes the most powerful supercomputers and AI that we have today. They coordinate entire swarms and compute unimaginable scenarios all at once. So, imagine if all human minds, as of today, 8 billion, thinking different things, but there's a collective that knows our every thought as we think them. It also makes us move, tells us what to do, and plans ahead as well. Scary, right? Well, that's a hive mind for you. Now, let's get to the deadliest of them all in sci-fi. So we begin here with the alien universe, mainly the comics. We hear of an apex xenomorph that controls all the other aliens, a sort of a central intelligence to the highly decentralized hive structures of these aliens. This is the Queen Mother, a colossal royal giantess that can reach a height of over 50 feet with massive claws, a thick spiked tail, and a massive head crest with a man-sized inner jaw, capable of effortlessly killing other xenomorphs or boring holes through armored vehicles. Unlike other xenomorphs, it possesses a psychic ability that extends way beyond its line of sight. It can influence the minds of humans far away, penetrate dreams, and communicate telepathically with their hives, exerting control not over just the xenomorphs on a single planet, but potentially over multiple hives across entire star systems. These queen mothers emerge from existing queens, often through a process catalyzed by the size and virility of the hive itself. As a hive grows and matures, the queen may evolve, possibly passing through an emperor stage into the ultimate reproductive and commanding form. Once established, a queen mother rules with near absolute authority, orchestrating the actions of subordinate queens, Praetorian guards, and countless drones, producing millions of xenomorphs over her lifetime, and maintaining a hierarchy reinforced by telepathic oversight. Her influence is both generational and planetary, or even interplanetary and interstellar, shaping the evolution of her species, controlling the expansion of multiple hives, and serving as the linchpin of the entire species. Then we come to the mimics from Edge of Tomorrow, which are a highly evolved extraterrestrial species that functions as a single superorganism, operating through a hive mind that is anchored by a central intelligence known as the Omega. At the periphery of this hive are the drones, which are deadly biomechanical agile creatures. Above them in the hierarchy are the alphas, which are larger and rarer, whose primary role is to act as neural conduits linking the drones to the Omega. The alphas' distinctive light blue bioluminescence sets them apart from the orange glowing drones, and their death triggers the Omega's signature chronokinetic ability, which rewinds time to a previous point while retaining knowledge of the events. This ability allows the mimics to adapt to and preemptively counter human strategies, effectively giving them a form of tactical immortality. Anyway, at the center of the hive is the Omega, a massive water-dependent organism that serves as a focal point of the species' telepathy and temporal manipulation. Morphologically, it is often depicted as a colossal amorphous sphere, which is capable of establishing psychic links with both the alphas and any other creature exposed to the alpha blood. The Omega not only coordinates the hive mind, but is the source of the mimic's time-resetting abilities, making it nearly impossible to defeat the species without locating and neutralizing the Omega first. Their hive coordination, rapid adaptation, and temporal foresight, which means they can influence the events through time and space, and that makes them extraordinarily dangerous, allowing them to swarm enemies and counter human tactics with a near-perfect efficiency. However, they do have notable weaknesses. They rely heavily on the Omega for coordination, meaning that the destruction of the Omega collapses the hive mind and renders the remaining mimics mute and useless. So another biomechanical hive organism that we also have here are the harvesters from the movie universe of Independence Day. The queen here is the central intelligence and the matriarch of the harvester species, functioning as a telepathic hive mind that coordinates and controls every member of her race, or maybe just a section of the race, because there may be other queens coordinating other sections of the hive. The queen towers at a roughly 200 feet with her exoskeleton, so she far exceeds the size of her drones, and her presence embodies the collective will and consciousness of the harvesters, as they are telepathic in nature. Her psychic abilities allows her to communicate through vast distances, directing entire fleets and coordinating invasions with near-perfect precision, effectively making her the nerve center of the species' operations. This telepathy extends to controlling individual harvesters in real time. ensuring that each unit acts in accordance to the Queen's strategy, from orbital assaults to terrestrial invasions. The Queen's power is further amplified by her biomechanical suit, which grants her immense protection, including a shield capable of withstanding cold fusion weapons, and allows her to manipulate the battlefield as it enhances her telepathic coordination abilities and maybe even broadcasting her will through highly advanced technologies that only the Harvesters possess. Now next we have the Behemecotyl, also known as the God Bug, from the Arachnids of the Starship Troopers franchise. This one occupies the pinnacle of the Arachnid hierarchy as both the central intelligence and the ultimate leader of the species. It is utterly massive, occupying a large section of a planet called OM1, and it is anchored to the crust of its homeworld. The Behemecotyl functions as the hive mind for the entire Arachnid species, coordinating every cast from drones and warriors through an immense telepathic network that involves brain bugs, control bugs, and queens as nodes. Its influence extends far beyond its home planet. Via psychic links with brain bugs, it can monitor and manipulate colonies across multiple star systems, orchestrating invasions, defense, and resource acquisition with a near omniscient ability. So physically, the Godbug is an enormous stationary organism employing countless appendages to capture prey or victims, maintain control over its environment, and interact with the subordinate arachnids, while also capable of absorbing the memories and knowledge of other sentient beings it consumes, effectively integrating intelligence of other species into its hive mind. Now, similar to the Behemecotyl but on a far deadlier scale is the Overmind of the gaming universe of StarCraft. This is the head of the Zerg, which are an interstellar parasitic species that is defined by its hive-minded structure and operates as a single unified organism under the guidance of a central intelligence or a hive mind. At the heart of this collective consciousness originally was the Overmind, before the Queen of Blades or, Sarah Carrigan came into the picture. The Overmind was the original hive mind of the Swarm, created by the Xel'Naga species, an ancient precursor race on the planet called Xeros, to impose order and direct the evolutionary assimilation of the Zerg. And unlike ordinary Zerg, which act instinctively, the Overmind possesses self-awareness, high intelligence, and a distinct personality, which enables it to plan, strategize, and manipulate both its brood, its swarm, and a broader galaxy-spanning campaign of conquest. Using powerful telepathy or psionic abilities, the Overmind controls the growth and development of the Zerg larva, guiding the genetic assimilation of species for a strategic advantage, and later created the Cerebrates as loyal intermediaries to extend its control over the expanding swarm. Through these abilities, the Overmind orchestrates the Zerg's exodus into space, establishing colonies on countless planets and directed interstellar invasions, assimilating new species like humans or Terrans and even the Protoss to enhance the swarm. Its psychic reach enables it to manipulate vast networks of overlords, drones, and combat units, making it a galactic-level force whose influence extends across multiple star systems, mainly focusing around the Corporulus sector in the Milky Way galaxy, dictating the strategic movements and evolution of every Zerg under its control. Now on the fifth spot we have the Borg, or the Borg Hive, which are these cybernetic interstellar species defined by a hive-minded collective consciousness that links all drones into a single, unified intelligence known as the Borg Collective. Each drone functions simultaneously as an individual unit and as a node in the vast network, which allows the collective to perform near-infinite computations, to analyze threats in real time and coordinate actions across fleets and planetary invasions with unparalleled efficiency. Assimilation is the Borg's primary method of expansion, as biological beings are captured, cybernetically augmented, and integrated into the collective, contributing their knowledge, skill, and genetic material to enhance the swarm or the collective. Through this process, entire civilizations have been absorbed, effectively making the collective an unstoppable, adaptive force which is capable of evolving in response to any opposition, and also with very advanced technology that the Federation or other species cannot compete with. At the apex of this network is the Borg Queen, who serves as a singular focal point of authority and decision-making. While the collective itself acts as a distributed intelligence, the Queen possesses complete autonomy, which grants her the ability to direct vast swaths of drones and maintain a cohesion across vast interstellar distances. Now, according to us, even greater is the Gravemind of the Flood. So this one comes from the universe of Halo, and we come here to the most scariest and most terrifying life forms in fiction, well, one of, and this is the Flood, which is controlled by the Thinking Dead, or also called the Gravemind. It is the ultimate intelligence and the apex stage of the Flood, a parasitic species that spreads across the galaxy by assimilating and controlling organic life. Its origins are tied to the ancient precursors, who were these beings that seeded the galaxy with life. While the Forerunners rebelled against their creators later on, the remnants of these precursors became corrupted and gave rise to the nascent flood, which is still kind of like a theory. Over thousands of years, these parasitic organisms evolved, forming a collective intelligence known as the Keyminds, which eventually coalesced to the Gravemind. This compound intelligence emerges when the flood reaches the coordinated stage, granting it a near omniscient awareness and the ability to control all flood forms in a region of space, coordinating vast infestations across entire worlds. Under the Gravemind's guidance, the flood becomes an unstoppable galactic threat, capable of consuming and assimilating entire populations, turning planets into extensions of itself and corrupting entire species to expand its influence. Beyond organic life, the Gravemind can also infect machines and artificial intelligences, bending them to its will, as demonstrated when it reactivated and controlled the Messendan Bias, a Forerunner AI, using it to direct fleets and coordinate assaults across the galaxy by using some kind of a digital plague. Its combination of psychic dominance, biological assimilation, and the capacity to manipulate both life and technology makes the Flood under the Gravemind not only a parasitic scourge but a multi-system spanning intelligence capable of orchestrating warfare on an unprecedented interstellar scale. Now next, similar in a way but way different in many other traits, are the Brethren Moons, which are the ultimate hive minds of the Necromorph species, which acts as these colossal godlike central intelligences that control the markers and through them orchestrate the Necromorph outbreaks across the universe, or at least just in this galaxy. Each Brethren Moon is essentially a moon-sized necromorph, a final evolutionary stage of the race, imbued with the ability to send black markers to distant planets. These markers serve as extensions of the Brethren Moon's consciousness, subtly influencing intelligent life, accelerating evolution, and eventually converting corpses into necromorphs that act as its servants, killing and, gathering biomass. Through this network, the Brethren Moon exerts psychic and biological control over all the lesser necromorph forms, which are spawned from these markers, which then guides outbreaks and eventually push for the formation of a new Brethren Moon from all the necromorph mass that had been accumulated. Importantly, there's not just one single Brethren Moon, but multiple ones, each created in the same way, and each a self-contained hive intelligence with the same capacity to project its influence across star systems. And this multiplicity means the necromorph outbreaks can occur simultaneously across the universe, or at least in the galaxy again, effectively forming a galaxy-spanning collective. Well, next here we have the Nids. Well, it ain't a list without 40k, is it? Here we have the Tyranids, or the Nids, which are an intergalactic or extragalactic hive species whose origins lie in the intergalactic void, and they travel in massive hive fleets to consume all biological matter in their path, going from galaxy to galaxy. They are not a civilization but single intergalactic spanning organism manifesting through countless individual bioforms, all connected to a central intelligence known as the Hivemind. And this hive mind is not a mind in the human sense, but a gestalt consciousness, the psychic embodiment of the Tyranid race's instincts and imperatives to devour and adapt. It allows the Tyranids to function as a coordinated superorganism. The psychic presence of the hive mind extends far beyond a certain area but also goes into the warp, and this is known as the shadow in the warp. It distorts the warp, which is a sea of souls, which allows people to travel from one part of the galaxy to another like hyperdrive, but then going through hell. Anyway, I digress here. Well, this shadow in the warp also prevents astropaths from sending or receiving signals or messages, throwing spacecraft of course and generating psychic terror amongst the populations. Psychers which attempt to sense or communicate with the hive mind are often driven insane or killed, as the collective consciousness is simply too vast and alien for most minds to comprehend. Smaller localized psychic networks also exist, such as gene-stealer broodminds, which guide covert infiltrations and manipulate host populations, and thus act as beacons to draw the hive fleets towards prey worlds. Through the psychic and synaptic control, the hive mind governs uncountable Tyranid organisms, and it uses kinda like nodes in between, like non-queens which coordinate feeding, reproduction, and adaptation, including assimilation of species, genetic materials. And then they also coordinate the invasions with the swarm lords. Anyway, entire planets are stripped of life, their biomass harvested to fuel the evolution of the new Tyranid strains, which are tailored for specific environments or threats. The hive mind's influence is effectively intergalactic, extending across galaxies as it directs the movements of vast hive fleets, assimilating information about prey species and environments to optimize future invasions, making every successive attempt in the future to be optimized for a higher net gain, which is kind of like their primary motive to lose the least and gain the most. And in this way, the Tyranids operate as a single immense organism with a hive mind, which is the central intelligence, a gestalt consciousness of intergalactic scale as its central hub. But on the top of the list is even more widespread and even more deadly, and this is no doubt the symbiote hive mind from the Marvel Universe. It is a vast, super sentient and metaphysical consciousness that connects all symbiotes across the Marvel multiverse, linking them to one another and to their god, who is Null, the King in Black. Functioning both as a psychic network and kind of like an afterlife for deceased symbiotes and their hosts, it allows the King in Black to telepathically communicate with symbiotes, influence or corrupt them, and even project his consciousness to remotely control symbiotes across space and time. Highly advanced users of this power can also extend awareness to any symbiotes, just like Venom did in the storyline of King in Black, and though they cannot alter the past though, they can still communicate with individuals across timelines. The hive mind is multiversal in reach, able to interact with symbiotes from alternate Earths or alternate universes, such as contacting Venom of Earth 1048, demonstrating its ability to operate beyond a single reality. Within this network, each symbiote has a unique psionic signature. Its multiversal nature positions it in potential conflict with other cosmic constructs such as the Web of Life, Destiny, the other cosmic entities, yet it also has existed with these forces for eons. It is thus by far the deadliest and most spanning hive mind in fiction. So yeah, that's the end of the video. Do hit the like button for support, and also for the ones holding their phones in their hands while watching the video, you can also click the hype option to push this content further. So subscribe to be a part of Legion Nutbug, and like always, till the next time, take care, boys.